Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do another ranking as promised, and so I'm going to be doing the films of Michael Mann today. He's probably one of my favorite directors, but he is a bit hit and miss for me. There are films that I think are great, and there are some okay and good films, and then there's some that are just, yeah, pretty average and pretty trashy in my opinion, but we'll go through them. Nevertheless, there's 11 feature films and 2 TV movies that he's done, and I've seen them all, so I thought I'd include the 2 TV movies as well, just to make the list a bit more interesting and a bit longer. So starting off, we have The Insider. So this came out in '99, and I think it's a true story film about the tobacco company and kind of this whistleblower who was trying to like expose everything that was going on there. So the movie was decent. I was expecting it to be better than I thought it was, though, because it's probably one of people's most favorite films of this director. But I personally thought it was a bit too long and a bit drawn out. In some aspects of it and a little bit boring and underwhelming. But overall, as a whole, the film was good, but just not great. So I'm probably going to put it in the B tier because it's probably deserving of at least a B. Most people probably put it in the S or A tier, to be honest. But uh, yeah, for me personally, it's probably a B. But Al Pacino, Russell Crowe were really good in the film. Just I think it could have been shortened maybe a bit. Next up, we have Collateral. So this is one of my personal favorites of his. I'm going to put that up in the S because that's definitely one of the best. It kind of like displays all of his best techniques in a film. Like, he's really known for the way he kind of shoots nightlife in a city, in LA or New York or whatever. And this film does that really well. It has that style that, Heat has, and Thief and Miami Vice and those kind of films. But this is also a really fun, entertaining film with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. And Tom Cruise playing against character. This time he's like a villain. He doesn't usually play the villain, but he does it really well. And Jamie Foxx was really good here, one of his better performances, in my opinion. And just, yeah, the gunfights, the action scenes were so well done in this movie. Like, it's a really fun, thrilling kind of action thriller film. Yeah, definitely worth an S. Probably one of his, yeah, top 2, 3 films, I reckon. Black Hat is next. This film is pretty much trash. I can't quite put it in the F tier, but I reckon E because it's pretty bad. There's not much really going for this movie. It is his most recently released film. It came out only in 2015, so he hasn't made a movie since. I know he has one coming out later this year, apparently, or next year, but yeah, this was bad. This movie is too long, it's boring, it's convoluted. There's very little to keep it from being an F, but there are a couple action scenes that are okay, that come in and out. Some of the performances are okay, but overall the film like is not worth rewatching or even watching a first time, to be honest. I just watched it so that I could add it to this list and finish off all the films of his that I've seen. So yeah, definitely an E. It's a very underwhelming film, especially being his most recent film. You'd think he'd be a bit more on the ball, but he didn't write it though. I know he's written most of his other films, but he didn't write Black Hat, so maybe that's got to do with it. Next up, we have Thief. This is his first theatrical film. It came out in 1981. And I also just saw this for the first time uh, a couple of weeks ago, and I actually really liked it a lot, like a lot more than I thought I would. Um, it's not quite an S, but it's definitely an A for me. I even bought it on Blu-ray just because it was such a good film. It kind of reminded me of like an early version of Drive, the Ryan Gosling movie, because it really has that kind of retro 80s vibe as well as that synth kind of score. It's about like a criminal pretty much, or a thief who is really good at his job, and he's a bit of a loner. So it kind of felt like I feel like Drive kind of got a lot of its inspiration from this movie, but it's really good. And James Caan is really good in the film. It's not action packed or anything like that, but it is kind of like a smaller scale thriller, but it works so well. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it because it's one of his best films. Yeah, I was really glad to see that actually a few weeks ago and kind of be blown away a bit by it. Um, but that brings us now down to The Keep, which is just a terrible film. The Keep is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen, to be honest. So Michael Mann, he's got a lot of, like I said, he's hit and miss with me. He's got great films, he's got okay films and terrible films, and this is the worst of the bunch. So this is an F film. There's not many movies I'd put straight down as the F category that I've seen, but there's nothing redeemable about this movie. There's nothing going for it. It's an hour and a half long. It was originally 3 hours apparently. But yeah, I've no desire to see the film again or even an alternate cut of the film. It was just so bad. Like the performances, the story, the visuals, pretty much every element of the film just didn't work. And Michael Mann even hates the movie, so that kind of tells you how bad it is. So F tier. Manhunter, for me, this is a middle of the line kind of movie. C tier. It's kind of the first film in the Hannibal series. We got Silence of the Lambs next, which was a much better film. I was expecting to like it more than I did. It was just kind of okay. I think it was the Red Dragon storyline, and it had Michael Mann's style and visual flair, but the movie just didn't do much for me. So it was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. So I put it in C. Um, and I kind of felt the same way about this next film, The Last of the Mohicans. I'm probably going to put that in C also because um, yeah, it was just okay. Like Daniel Day-Lewis is a great actor. He's one of the best, and he was really great here. But the movie just didn't connect with me very much. I know a lot of people love this movie, but yeah, personally, I just wasn't a huge fan of it. And it's probably the most different Michael Mann movie. You know, most of his films are set in cities, big cityscapes at night time, and they're action or thriller or something like this. And this is more of like a period war drama kind of out in the sticks, you know, in these forests and things. I haven't seen it for a long time, but yeah, I just remember thinking it was kind of average. Next up, we have Heat. So this is probably one of my like top 50 favorite movies of all time. So as you can probably tell, it's going up in the S into number one spot because this is a fantastic crime drama thriller heist film. It kind of set the pace for films that would come after it, like The Town or even the Dark Knight trilogy. They kind of all borrow from what Heat did, and it's like an almost 3 hour long movie, but it's such an epic film. And like Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Val Kilmer, they're all at the top of their game. Michael Mann's at the top of his game as far as being a director goes. Like able to do here in this film is incredible, and like it just looks so good. It's so entertaining. It's also subdued and all that, but you've got like these great action set pieces as well as character development throughout the whole film. And so yeah, I just think it worked really, really well. Um, Next up, we have Ali. This is a film that I was actually pretty disappointed with. I thought it was overlong. I thought it was quite boring. It's like 2.5, maybe close to 3 hours long. Stars Will Smith, who was really good in the film, and it's obviously based on a true story of the boxer. But yeah, I thought the movie was a bit boring. Could have been shortened. Had some good scenes, but overall, I didn't really enjoy it, and I don't really have any desire to rewatch that movie. But there were a few good things about it. Next, we have LA Takedown. So this is a TV movie, so not many people would have seen this one. I just watched it to finish off the list, really, his TV films. And it's actually kind of a precursor to Heat because it's pretty much the same story, same script, characters, and everything like that, but just a smaller budget, smaller scale, B grade kind of film. And it's weird because you watch it after watching Heat and you're like, wow, it's like the same dialogue, the same scenes, but small scale, small budget, bad acting. It's pretty bad to be honest. So I'm glad that they were able to make this though, so that they could make Heat afterwards. But overall, this film's not good. You can watch it on YouTube, but yeah, I'd probably put it in E because it's pretty terrible. Um, I'll just do his other TV movie while I'm at it. So The Jericho Mile came out in 1979, so it came out before Thief even, but it's just a TV film again. It was better than LA Takedown. Probably for a TV movie, it's pretty decent, but it's kind of, yeah, it's just about this runner in prison who's pretty much got a life sentence, but he's just putting all his energy and focus into running, and he gets into like the Olympics pretty much and beats the record. But like the movie's okay. It's probably C tier for me though. Last two, we have Public Enemies. This is probably the first Michael Mann film I saw, and I really enjoyed this movie. I hadn't seen it in a long time, maybe like 10 years, and so I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, and I still really like it. Like, I don't really get the complaints that people have with Public Enemies. It's not like an amazing top tier S tier film, but to be honest, I put it in A, probably even above Thief. I think Johnny Depp did a great job here. He's really kind of downplaying a lot of what he's usually this crazy wild characters, but here he's really subdued, playing this real life gangster John Dillinger in the 1930s. and he did a fantastic job. The movie has some great sequences, some really like white knuckled tension going on there, with some of the shootouts and the bank robberies and chase scenes and things like that. And it's really good. It's quite entertaining. A lot of people complain about the way the film looks, how it was shot, the cameras they use. I think it's like similar to how he shot Collateral and Miami Vice, but I don't really have a problem with that. I think it kind of works for the film. So that's an A tier for me. And last but not least, we have Miami Vice. So this is another one that I'd only just seen for the first time recently in the last couple of weeks. I wasn't really expecting much from it because I'd heard mostly negative things about it. And I watched the extended director's cut, which is like 2 hours 20. But I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, which surprised me because I even went out and bought it on Blu-ray or ordered it on Blu-ray afterwards. Because I actually liked it quite a lot. I didn't think it was as good as these top films up here, but for me, it's a B tier. Even possibly even more than The Insider. I liked it because I bought it on Blu-ray. I don't have The Insider on Blu-ray. Um, so that might offend a lot of you, but sorry, that's just my opinion. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx were good. I thought their characters were extremely underdeveloped, though, which I know is a criticism the film seems to have. But it's a good movie. It has some great scenes, some great action. It's quite a unique setting, obviously in Miami. It looks really cool. Yeah, it just worked for me for some reason. Like I was watching it, wondering why so many people dislike the movie or hate the film, and I was like, it's actually pretty decent. So again, it's not S or A, but I think it's definitely deserves to be in the B tier for me. So yeah, that's all Michael Mann's films so far. I know he's got a movie called Ferrari with Adam Driver. I think it's supposed to be coming out this year, so that would be cool to see a new film from him. But yeah, would definitely highly recommend Heat, Collateral, Public Enemies, Thief, Miami Vice, and The Insider. So those top three tiers there, they're all great films or good films. But yeah, C and below, I wasn't really a fan of these films or don't really have a desire to watch any of those ones again. But as I said, he's a bit of a mixed bag for me. But anyway, that's how I'd rank Michael Mann's films. So cheers for watching, guys. Please subscribe and keep an eye out because I'll be uploading some more of these vids soon. Thanks. Bye.